Hi, I am Arib. You are watching my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing well and are happy and safe, including your families. Welcome to my YouTube channel HAH Electrical. Today, we will discuss the topic about circuit breaker. It is necessary. Let's start the topic. Before that, subscribe and like my channel and press the bell icon so that you can receive every new video. An electrical circuit breaker is a switching device which can be operated manually and automatically for controlling and protecting an electrical power system. As the modern power system deals with huge currents, special attention should be given during designing of a circuit breaker to ensure it is able to safely interrupt the arc produced during the closing of a circuit breaker. This was the basic definition of circuit breaker. Oil circuit breaker. The oldest type of circuit breaker is an oil circuit breaker. It includes separate contacts, and the main function of these contacts is to separate an insulating oil. It has good insulating properties compared with air. When the fault occurs, then the contacts of the breaker will open beneath the oil. Once the arc is struck among the two contacts of the breaker, then the heat of the arc will dissolve the surrounding oil and separates into a significant volume of gases hydrogen at high pressure. The main features of this circuit breaker are low cost, reliability and simplicity. Working principle of oil circuit breaker. In normal operation of this circuit breaker, the contact in the breaker will be closed as well as carries the current. Once the fault happens within the system, then the contacts will move apart and an arc will be struck among the contacts. Because of this arc, a huge amount of heat will be released and high temperature can be achieved to vaporize the nearby oil to gas. So this gas will be surrounded by the arc, and its unstable increase around it will move the oil violently. The arc will be turned off once the space between the contacts, like fixed and moving, arrives at a certain critical value. It mainly depends on the recovery, voltage and arc current. The operation of this circuit breaker is extremely reliable and cheap. The main feature of this circuit breaker is there is no particular devices are used while controlling the arc which is caused by moving contact. Advantages: it uses less amount of oil. Dielectric strength of oil is high. Oil in the breaker will absorb the energy of arc when decomposing. Less space. Risk of fire can be reduced. Maintenance also reduced. Disadvantages: it uses less quantity of oil so that carbonization amount will be increased. Removing of the gases within the contact space is difficult. The dielectric strength will declines the oil quickly because of the high quantity of carbonization. Arcing time is high. Do not allow interruption with high speed. Controlling of arc interruption can be done based on the length of arc. It can form any volatile mixture through the air. Sulfur hexafluoride SF6 circuit breaker. In SF6 circuit breakers, sulfur hexafluoride SF6 gas is used as the arc quenching medium. The SF6 is an electronegative gas and has a strong tendency to absorb free electrons. The contacts of the breaker are opened in a high-pressure flow of SF6 gas and an arc is struck between them. The conducting free electrons in the arc rapidly captured by the gas to from relatively immobile negative ions. This loss of conducting electrons in the arc quickly builds up enough insulation strength to extinguish the arc. The SF6 circuit breakers have been found to be very effective for high power and high voltage service. Working principle of SF6 circuit breaker. In the closed position of the SF6 circuit breaker, the contacts remain surrounded by SF6 gas at a pressure of about 2.8 kilograms per square centimeter. When the breaker operates, the moving contact is pulled apart and an arc is struck between the contacts. The movement of the moving contact is synchronized with the opening of a valve which permits SF6 gas at 14 kilograms per square centimeter pressure from the reservoir to the arc interruption chamber. The high-pressure flow of SF6 rapidly absorbs the free electrons in the arc path to from immobile negative ions, which are ineffective as charge carriers, quickly builds up high dielectric strength and causes the extinction of the arc after the breaker operation. Example: after arc extinction, the valve is closed by the action of a set of springs. SF6 circuit breakers advantages. Due to the superior arc-quenching properties of SF6, such circuit breakers have very short arcing time since the dielectric strength of SF6 gas is 2 to 3 times that of air. Such breakers can interrupt much larger currents. The SF6 circuit breaker gives noiseless operation due to its closed gas circuit and no exhaust to atmosphere. Unlike the air blast circuit breaker, the closed gas enclosure keeps the interior dry so that there is no moisture problem. There are no carbon deposits so that tracking and insulation problems are eliminated. The SF6 circuit breakers have a low maintenance cost, light foundation requirements and minimum auxiliary equipment. Since SF6 breakers are totally enclosed and sealed from the atmosphere, they are particularly suitable where explosion hazard exists. SF6 circuit breakers disadvantages. SF6 circuit breakers are costly due to the high cost of SF6 gas. Since SF6 gas has to be reconditioned after every operation of the breaker, additional equipment is required for this purpose. SF6 circuit breakers application. A typical SF6 circuit breaker consists of interrupter units, each capable of dealing with currents up to 60 kA and voltages in the range of 50 to 80 kVA. Number of units are connected in series according to the system voltage. SF6 circuit breakers have been developed for voltages 115 kV to 230 kV, power ratings 10 MVA to 20 MVA, and interrupting time less than 3 cycles. Principle of air blast circuit breaker. The air blast needs an additional compressed air system which supplies air to the air receiver. When opening air is required, compressed air is admitted to the arc extinction chamber. It pushes away the moving contacts. In doing so, the contacts are pulled apart and the air blast moves away the ionized gas along with it and assists arc extinction. Air blast extinguishes the arc within one or more cycle, and the arc chamber is filled with high-pressure air which prevents restrikes. The air blast circuit breakers fall under the category of external extinguishing energy type. The energy supplied for arc quenching is achieved from the high-pressure air and it is free from the current to be interrupted. Types of air blast circuit breaker. All air blast circuit breakers follow the principle of separating their contact in a flow of arc established by the opening of a blast valve. The arc which is drawn is usually rapidly positioned centrally through a nozzle where it is kept to a fixed length and is subjected to the maximum range by the air flow. The air blast circuit breakers according to the type of flow of blast of compressed around the contacts are of 3 types. Axial blast air circuit breaker, radial blast air circuit breaker, cross blast air circuit breaker. Under normal condition, the contacts are closed by spring pressure. The air reservoir is connected to the arcing chamber through an air valve. When a fault occurs, the air valve opens. The high-pressure air entering the arcing chamber pushes away the moving contact, and an arc is formed between the contacts. The high-pressure air flows along with the arc and sweeps away the ionized particles. Now the arc is extinguished. Radial blast air circuit breaker. In this radial type, the flow of air is longitudinal along the arc. Breaking by employing a double blast is called a radial circuit breaker. The air blast flows radially into space between the contacts. The contacts are separated and an arc is formed between them. The air flows at a great speed axially along the arc. It causes the removal of heat and the arc is extinguished. The flow of fresh air builds the dielectric strength between them. Cross blast air circuit breaker. An air blast is directed at the right angle in this type. When the moving contacts the high-pressure cross-blast force the arc into a chamber called chute, which consists of arc splitters and baffles. The splitter is used to increase the length of the arc, and the baffle is used for cooling purposes. Thus the arc is extinguished. Advantages of air blast circuit breaker. It eliminates the risk of fire. Operating speed is high. Requires less maintenance. Suitable for frequent operation. Short and consistent arcing. Time cheap if using air as medium. Disadvantages of air circuit breaker. Air compressor needs to be maintained. It produces a noise when the air is discharged. Please comment how you like my video. Thank you for watching my video.